Alright, hey, what is up, guys? It's Tiller Plays Games here with another What If. I will still be uploading the What If Deku had Estes Grimoire What If today. Probably about 10. But right now, I'm going to do What If Deku was in the military, as you can see by the picture. So, I'm going to walk right now, and it's colder than a witch's tit up in this bit. Anyways, so we start off when when Deku is born, and his father, we're going to have him a different name than Hisashi. We're going to go with, no, fuck it. His father is Hawks. Yeah, Hawks. And he's an Air Force pilot instead of a hero. He was a general as an Air Force pilot. He was a general for the Air Force. He was a pilot, and he's retired. But he has a lot of connections with the military still. So we start this out. He's in the room, and Izuku comes out with red wings. And Hawks is like, well, shit. He has my quirk. But he also has telekinesis. So, Hawks is there. He's like, well, shit. He has the combination quirk. Because he's throwing shit around the room. Brian is throwing shit around the room, like scalpels and shit, and they're like, oh fuck. One of the scalpels goes straight right by one of the doctor's heads. They're like, well, it's a good sign. It seems this quirk is activated very, very early. Usually they activate when they're about 4. So, they're very surprised by this. So they take him home a few days later, after all the tests have been run, and they call his quirk, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you guys yet, actually. And he's going to keep it a secret from all of his classmates, too. But, yeah. So, they take him home, and they're like, okay, this is good. Maybe he'll be in the Air Force just like you. And his father was in a war that lasted, like, let's say 20 years. Now, I did get this idea from The Great What If. I really liked his, but I'm changing up a few shit. I'm really changing up a lot of shit, actually. So this is not an original idea. I'll link The Great What If's channel in my description when this uploads. But yeah. So they take him home, and they enroll him in a preschool when he's about 3. So they enroll him, and he tells everybody that his quirk has been activated when he was born. And they're like, whoa, we haven't even activated our quirks yet. And it was, yeah. Apparently only 5, and let's say only 5% of the population activates their quirk when they're born. So in the entire school, he's the only one with his quirk activated right now. Fucking school. Anyways. They're walking. So he has a lot of friends. Bakugo is one of them. Yeah. I know, right? Bakugo not being a dick? The fuck? Yeah, no. Bakugo is not going to be a dick in this one. Instead, he's going to be very nice to everyone. Because he knows that Izuku is stronger than him, so he doesn't pick on anyone because he knows Izuku will hand his ass to him. But hand his ass to him on a silver platter. So he does not pick on me. So Bakugo, they're about 5 now. No, we'll time skip to when they're 10. Bakugo, so Izuku finds this military outpost, and he's like, whoa guys, check this out. And everybody's like, whoa, is that a military outpost? And he goes, yeah, it looks like an enemy one. And, like, how do you know? And he's like, well, my dad taught me a lot of stuff about it. And they're like, oh yeah, your dad's hot. He was a general for the Air Force. And he goes, yeah, that's correct. And they're like, whoa. And he sees some guns. So he picks one up, pulls the trigger, and it fires. And it's a deagle, let's say. It fires and hits someone in the shoulder. Now, someone there has a healing perk, so they heal it up, and they're like, Zuko, oh shit, right? And he's like, I'm sorry. And everybody kind of fears him after that, because they're like, he's not afraid to shoot anybody. They're like, he'll be great in the military. Now, he's not going to be in the Air Force, mind you. He's going to be in Japan's just regular military division. So, we're all walking back. The kid's fine. I ain't going to kill anybody. Jesus. What do you think I am? Anyways. That just sounded like a yeah boy. Anyways. So, Izuku, goes back home and he tells his father what happened. That he found a military outpost and there were guns there. And his father scolds him. But then he's like, wait a minute, there were guns in the military outpost? And he goes, yeah. So this Hawk calls up some of his buddies and he calls up his old commander and he goes, I thought y'all got rid of all the guns from the enemy military outpost. And he's like, we did. Then how did my son just come home and tell me that he went into an enemy military outpost from the 20-year war and found guns? So they're like, so they pin the location, they go over there and they take all the guns. They do see some blood splattered on the wall. So they call back on Hawks and they're like, there's blood splattered on the wall. Do you think your kid might have accidentally shot somebody? So, I'll be right back. So Hawks goes to his son and fire him back. And I'm very asocial. So Hawks goes to Izuku and he's like, hey, did you shoot someone? And he goes, yeah, I didn't know the gun was loaded and I pulled the trigger and it shot someone in the shoulder. And he's like, who was it? And he goes, I'm not going to be in trouble, am I? He goes, yes, you're going to be in trouble. You just shot someone. He goes, but someone there had a healing perk. They healed him right up. He goes, you're grounded for a month. And he goes, his dad goes, you want to make it 2? He goes, no, I don't. goes, I don't want to hear that language from you again, you mom. And he goes, yes, Dad. So, now this kid does have a nasty scar on his shoulder. And everybody kind of like, he's like, whoa, that's awesome, bro. Did you get shot? And he's like, yeah, Izuku shot him. And they're like, whoa. Did he mean to? And he's like, no, he didn't mean to. He didn't know the gun was loaded. Nobody did. He goes, and they're all like, okay, yeah. But when Dr. wants to hang out, he's like, I am grounded for a month for shooting that kid. And he goes, yeah, I had a feeling. So we're going to time skip to when they're 15. And Izuku asks if he can go to a military school. And his dad's like, do you not want to go to high school? And he goes, well, I do, but I'm already in high school. But I want to go to a military high school. And he goes, okay, if you say so. So, the fuck is that? Huh. Yeah. So he goes and rolls Izuku in one of the top military high schools. And everybody's like, oh, he just dropped out of high school. Military school? That's awesome. And so, he's in military school. He meets a lot of new friends. A lot of new friends, and his best friend, her name is going to be Mirko. Yeah, Mirko in this is the same age as Izuku. So, Izuku goes to the military high school, and best friend Mirko, and Izuku is the top of his class, top of the school, military high school. Everybody notices this, and they're like, who's your dad? And he's like, Pops. He's like, you mean the legendary general from the 20 Years' War? And he goes, yeah. And they're like, whoa, that's awesome. You're the top of the entire school. He goes, I don't really like the publicity. He's kind of like Aizawa in this. So, yeah. But he doesn't really show emotions, because he sees that as a weakness that people can use against him. So, UA is going to be a college in this, because, you know, like to time skip to when he is now in the actual military. He is sent out with a squadron consisting of his best friend and a few other extras. So they're sent to go save a United States military, division, because they're in trouble. So, I'm sorry if you can hear me breathing heavy. I've been walking for like 30 minutes now, and I just decided to fuck it. Let's make a what if. But yeah. So Izuku is walking with his military division. They're like the Ghost Division. They're in and they're out before anybody even notices. So they saved the U.S. military court division. They saved the U.S. division, and then they go, and they're just out of there until they see an ambush. So they're like, oh shit, an ambush. So they go back and they start, saving them. So they're like, alright, thanks, guys. And they're just gone. Before they, just in a blink of an eye, they're gone. Because Izuku can also teleport. So that's why they're called the Ghost Division, because they're in and they're out before anybody can even say thank you. Or before the enemy can even realize it. That they're there 1 second, they're gone the next. Anyways. So, they're walking, they're walking back to the base. They call up the commander and they're like, we saved them. And he's promoted to commander. Now mind you, he's 16 at this time. So it's miracle. But he's promoted to commander. And everybody's like, oh, 16 years as a commander. He's not a general. No. He's a sergeant. And he has all these pins and a rank on his cap and all that. Sort of like what the Great Whip did. But he has a rank on his cap. And then CPS comes in. Now mind you, CPS and this are going to be dicks. So they're like, so they come in and they're like, we're taking you to Miracle. He's like, over my fucking dead body. And he pulls out a gun. And his general is like, Izuku, put it down. He's like, yes, sir. So, Izuku puts it down. He's not finished. He grabs one of them, does his telekinesis, and he goes, brings him right to him, and he goes, you take me away. I will hunt down every last one of you. Kill you. I mean, he has not had his first blood yet. Oh no, yes he has. He's had a few kills. And as he's up in Izuku's face, he looks up at his cap and realizes he's talking down to his sergeant. He's like, fine, but we'll be back. Just wait for Izuku. Or, no, I don't know what Hawk's last name is. But they're like, Izuku. He's like, don't call me that. You will prefer to be a sergeant, Izuku. They're like, he's like, what? And they're like, nothing. Because they're scared shitless. They know they do not want to fuck with this kid. So, they take Miracle back because they had already taken her. But then they bring Miracle back because they're like, they told everyone what happened. Like, yeah, take that girl back. We do not want to fucking deal with a sergeant. So, he's walking back and he goes, alright. Now that that's dealt with, let's get this over with. So he goes and sees Miracle and he's like, did they do anything to you? And she's like, no. But they brought me back after they heard what you said. And she's like, you're kind of scary. And he goes, I know. It's just my job as a sergeant. Else you're supposed to get people to respect you. And she goes, that's fair. Miracle is still a private. But Izuku has more respect for her than anybody else, except for some commanders and shit. But yeah, so we time skip to when he's 18. Now, their base overruns like that, and Murko got badly injured. So we took her to the infirmary. She was like, fix her up now. Like, yes, Sergeant. She did not die, because that's going to be a shit. Izuku X Miracle. Kind of like in Great But If guy. He goes, except she's a teacher in that, and she's like 6 years older than him. Which isn't a bad deal. But she's a teacher at UA and all that shit. But yeah. So he's like, he goes to his commander, and his commander hasn't really, he's like, Izuku's like a nephew to him. So Izuku goes up to him and is like, hey, can I take a break, but just come back to the military whenever I want? And he's like, he sees how much, like, Izuku has been through, and how he had to kill, he went on a rampage, okay, and killed one of his comrades, and he sees that Izuku is kind of like stressed. So he goes, alright, so they go all the way back. So he goes back to Japan, because he's in the U.S., so he goes all the way back to Japan, and then he visits his parents, and he's like, I'm back, and they're like, Izuku, and they see that he was promoted to sergeant. They hadn't heard from him because he was so busy. They're like, you got promoted to sergeant? He's like, yes. I'm sorry I couldn't write y'all. I was so busy saving people and shit. And his dad's like, my man. Because now he's like, Izuku doesn't really show emotions, mind you. So they're kind of like, what happened to our son? What happened to his happy-go-lucky attitude? And he's like, well, the military has taught me one thing, that emotionless gains more respect. And you're like, wow, the military really screwed up his hip. But, yeah. Murko is sent off back to Japan, too, and they live in the same city. And so Izuku is walking around with his coat, with all the ranks on him and shit, and everybody's like, Sergeant's back? Is that Izuku? How long has he been in the military? And he goes, 3 years. And he goes, has he been there since you were 15? He goes, yeah. Well, it's about 2.5 because, you know, of training and all that. But yeah. So Izuku, everybody knows Izuku at that time. Because they remember the kid that, because they know that Hawks is his dad. So they all know Izuku. So then he sees Bakugo and Slime Villain fighting. So he goes up, he's like, oh, hey Bakugo. And then he sees his captain, he's like, Sergeant Izuku. He goes, yep, that's me. He goes, can you take care of this thing for me? Now mind you, Izuku's already saved Bakugo. And he's like, yeah, sure thing. So he grabs out his deagles. And all the heroes are like, listen kid, those won't do anything. He's like, you don't know who I am, do you? So he wraps it in, he like, his wings spread out, because, you know, they had a hole in they had holes in the back of his uniform for the wings. So his wings spread out, and he goes, I wasn't planning on using the deagles, just an intimidation factor. He goes, just kidding. He shoots both of the eyes straight blinded. Sludge villain. Sludge villain's screaming in agony, and then Izuku just pierces him with, the wing shit, whatever Hawks does, and it pierces the brain of the Sludge villain, and the Sludge villain just falls dead. And you're like, listen, you can't use your quirk. And he's like, I was in the military. I can do whatever the hell I want. And you're like, so, I'm gonna, if you want Deku to have one for all, just comment saying, yes, I want Deku to have one for all. Or no, I do not want Deku to have one for all. Just one of those. And so he goes, alright. And the heroes are like, oh shit, he's right, he does technically can use his quirks since he was in the military. He has higher power than we do. He's a sergeant after all. But yeah. I'm gonna leave it off there right after the Sludge villain thing. And I'll probably upload tomorrow the second part of this and the third part of What If Deku Had a Grimoire. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell notification so you don't miss an upload. See you guys. Tiller Plays Games, signing off.